Joey J. Ping here, checking in live, man. RespectMyRegion.com. Back with another episode of the RMR podcast. Today is officially the 113th official episode, and we have a very special guest by the name of Jage. He is the co-founder of MJUnpacked, which is probably my favorite cannabis trade show it's not just buyers and brands, and it's not just a local trade show. Like, this is a national trade show, and it brings a unique environment. George is here. He has a unique background from working with trade shows and doing business stuff and marketing and growing brands and cannabis. And man, it's just it's just wonderful to have you here, George. I appreciate being around you at all times. So thank you for being my guest today.
The feeling is absolutely mutual, Joey. I love hanging with you too.
Man, it's a pleasure. And for those of you guys watching, our episode today is brought to you guys by Seedless Media. They are what I have, what I like to say is, the best marketing agency out there in the game. Full service, SEO, ads, you guys name it, they do it. Website, all the goodies. We're rocking with them for our website, so if I'm rocking with them, then they must be good at something. So give them a shot. Seedless Media on the webs. Now, George, you guys have a big event coming up. And you guys recently crushed a big event on the East Coast, but you just don't stop. You just got to keep the wave going.
Just keep swimming. Yeah.
Cannabis, baby, it's an ocean.
It's an ocean. When we set out, we planned on doing kind of a spring fall event, East Coast, West Coast, as you well know. Cannabis is very regionalized. Most of the people are operating in a single state. And really the reason we created MJUnpacked was that, cannabis is a consumer packaged goods industry. We believe that the most important trade show for any consumer packaged goods show is a CPG style show on a national level where, new products can come to market. Innovators can, find companies that want to manufacture some cool new product or technology, establish all of things that are seemingly so far in the future for our young and nascent industry still 10, 12 years into it, that it's still, kind of getting its footing. So, we do bring in a national audience and it's got its challenges, trying to bring in brands from out of state. But you've been to our show. We do some really cool stuff with the brand showcases. And watching those brands, have an opportunity to express their brand story through visual merchandising is one of my favorite things at the event, because they don't get to control their visual merchandising at a lot of stores.
It's, what you guys have curated and created, because there's this element of like creation, because you've created a platform for people, right? For these brands to be there, to showcase their brand, to educate about it, to look for money. And then there's this businessy side of that is about the investors, that is about the expansion, that's about getting these deals signed. You guys have that gong, boom, and the sound of that is deals going on, man. And even ourselves, like RMR, we've been there, and I can't tell you guys, the quantity of deals that have happened from these shows, but I can tell you that every show, quantity of relationships are established and cultivated. And ultimately, as we buy and sell different things, exchanges are happening pretty often with the people and the relationships that are made. George, talk to us a little bit about what you guys have coming up with St. Louis, man. You guys got a Midwest show. Missouri's going to be a big one. I'm excited about it. We've got we're working with some of the bigger retailers and brands that are in that state. And they've all mentioned that they're pulling up to MJUnpacked as well. So what's going down?
Yeah. We kind of pulled out of the West Coast in the fall. It's obviously that, October, November get very crowded for the trade show season. We went to Detroit last year and had a really phenomenal show for the Michigan market, which is obviously, booming. It's not without its problems. Going and spending as much time as we have in Missouri this summer, I honestly think that this is the best state-run market in the entire country.
Wow.
Yeah, it has to do with a lot of different factors. One of them, I think, foundationally, there were some really solid people that came with a lot of business experience from, CPG backgrounds and, cannabis and medical backgrounds. It really came together to kind of establish the medical market in the state, as opposed to, and no disrespect to the MSOs, but where it's not like 4 or 5 MSOs gobbling up all the medical licenses and then controlling the supply chain once they go recreational, that nobody, can get product for unless they take they're forced to take, other products they don't want. And so I think that the market started with a really strong foundation. They've got exceptional leadership in their state association, MoCan Trade, one of the best state-run associations I've seen. They've got the lowest excise tax in the entire country.
Wow.
And it's 6%. I'm paying 37% here in Washington on my weed. So yeah, right. And low taxes. It's like, I'm a serial entrepreneur, small business guy. Like, it's like volume, location, right? And if you have a low excise tax on the product, it allows the market to thrive without kind of allowing the kind of illicit market to kind of resurge, once they go to recreational. So they're capturing more of the market. They're kind of extinguishing a lot of that illicit market where people are trying to avoid those high taxes. And I think the state ends up making more money. Because they're going to capture more of the market share through the taxed and regulated system. It helps us get it out of the hands of kids and keep it in the dispensaries so that there's an age verification process. Not that kids don't get their hands on it, because I know what I did when I was 14 years old and what you probably did when you were a young man too, Joey. I think it's a better run system. And there's a certain humility and I think appreciation, respect, and I think kind of Midwest value too that I really love about the Missouri market. I've been kind of saying it in the context that if somebody's house is on fire, everybody shows up with a bucket of water. And if somebody's kicking their dog, the neighbors come over and tell them to stop kicking the dog. So there's an accountability that everybody's being, held to, right? And a certain level of support. They're not without their problems. They have massive product recalls that they've been going through that's been hurting the whole industry. But the industry comes together because they got good leadership, they got a good sense of community, and they also have a sense that, there's enough at the table for everybody to eat. So anyways, back to Missouri. This hotel is the coolest hotel that I've ever had a chance to do an event at. It's the old train station that everybody went through when they went to the West back in the day.
Wow.
And so they've converted it into a hotel. It's a Hilton Curio Collection property. You walk in and there's this grand hall that used to be kind of the grand central area of the train station. And it's got this 60-foot arched roof ceiling. And at nighttime, at like every hour on the hour, they dim the lights and they do these really killer like 8K light shows on the ceiling. Like there's a Beatles anthology, a Queen anthology, like a History of St. Louis anthology, just some really trippy shit. If you're smoking up or maybe enjoying a little bit of psychedelics, you'll definitely enjoy the experience. I know from firsthand. And then when you walk in, the old train platforms where our exhibit hall is, there's also a whole compound attached to it. There's an aquarium, there's a ropes course, there's a putt-putt course, there's a Ferris wheel. There's a couple of restaurants out back. There's a giant koi pond that shoots fire out at night. So yeah, man, we're super stoked about this.
I'm excited. I don't know much about Missouri, but I've only heard great things about their cannabis industry, the culture, their ability to do events down there, the local legislation and the government kind of encouraging a lot of the growth on the platform. It's a pretty encouraging situation there in a lot of ways.
Yeah, you know what else is really interesting that we're kind of excited about? I mean, I think for the most part, those of us who have been around for a while, who certainly have been advocates to kind of see some of the social equity and reparation happen for, legal cannabis. And it's social equity's kind of been dismissed as a failure. And I think, part of the reason it's failed is because of lack of access to capital, not just to, people of color, but I think in the industry as whole. For any small business, pre-revenue, you got an idea. It's not hard. It's not easy to go out and raise that capital, now or 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And that's really limited the ability for social equity to take root. And I know that New York was kind of, we're going to put this big pile of money together and we're really going to support the card holders. That also didn't really pan out. They're doing something that's really kind of fascinating in Missouri. And there were some critics that I talked to that said that they really kind of failed doing much on the social equity side. But what they've done is they've created this micro license, this cannabis micro business license. And it's almost like creating a farm club. So the micro licenses, they've kind of de-verticalized it. So you can either manufacture or cultivate, or you can retail. And you can only sell by and between the micro licenses. So there's not any need or pressure for any of these businesses to scale. There tend to be kind of in some of the more remote areas, they're not competing in the big city markets so much. And it gives them a chance to kind of establish some process, establish a business, have a little bit of traction. And then when they issue additional licenses in the main market, a certain percentage of those have to go to the micro business licenses. So it's basically creating a farm club for them to kind of establish themselves, get their feet on the ground, not have this huge pressure of competing against everybody in the market that's way more capitalized than them, because they can only trade with each other, and the bigger players can't come in and sell their product into a retail micro business license. And I think that this and it's open to people on it's based on economic kind of depravity or situations where people are in poor economic zones or development areas, people of color, people who have been eviscerated or incarcerated or convicted of cannabis, nonviolent cannabis crimes, and veterans. And those are the kind of the groups that I think most social equity programs are trying to support. And so it's not limiting, it's more encompassing. It creates kind of a safe space zone. Now this is still just rolling out, and these people still need money, but they don't need to go out and raise $1 million. They might need $10,000 to get their business off the ground.
Wow.
And so, we've actually creating a show within the show. So we'll actually have a micro business lounge at our show. So when you come out, you can meet some of the folks that are entering in that space.
That's super cool, man. Micro businesses. I mean, you got to think like an ecosystem and like a system that's in place where the small business can truly thrive and at least have accessibility. That's major. That's definitely not how it's set up in a variety of other states.
Yeah, listen, I think everything that we've done in the cannabis space has been experimental, including us smoking pot when we first tried it. I think it'll be a really interesting experiment. I see the vision and I see the pros of this system. But again, it's got to be proven, and we'll see how these micro business license holders, a lot of them just got their licenses. They've had to go through a couple rounds and reissue some because some of the people who got them weren't able to actually activate them. It's going to be fantastic. They've actually created their own association. That's who's actually kind of organizing this group of micro business license holders in our show.
Yeah. Recap New Jersey. What was that like for you, brother? I know a lot of people base a lot of the similar brands tend to be involved, but there also tends to be a lot of new ones involved too.
Building an I'm here.
There we go. Go ahead, brother. Right. You're good.
All right. So, listen, I mean, building an event is not easy, especially in a hyper crowded market where most of our customers are under extreme duress most days. So it's been a fight. It's been an uphill fight. And I think, if anything, our team has always exhibited a high level of grit and determination and belief that, we're focused on the end game. We're focused on creating successful outcomes for our customers. We go the extra mile everywhere we can to help those businesses be successful at our show. We're not just trying to sell them a booth. If you ask anybody on our team what business they're in, they're going to tell you they're in the cannabis business. They're not going to say they're in the trade show business. I think some larger corporations that own large amounts of trade shows are going to tell you that in the events industry or the trade show business. I mean, we're really bought in full tilt into the cannabis industry. Everybody on our team. New Jersey was special. It really, I think, when you get to a certain point building an event where everybody walks out of the show going, holy crap, that was so cool. I'm going to go tell 10 of my friends that next time the circus comes to town, they better be at the circus. And I think that word of mouth marketing, I see a lot of events go out and say, we're going to have all these people, or we're the premier show, or we're the biggest or the longest, or the, whatever. All of those egocentric claims don't mean anything unless the end user of your product actually believes it. And that third party validation's, the only thing that really matters in an industry that like cannabis, where you really got to trust but verify everything you do.
Yeah, no, for sure. That, New Jersey is a special place, and I really enjoyed the experience and time out there. Atlantic City, fun market, fun place to be.
Did you get a White House sub?
I mean, New Jersey it's just at a certain place in their market where they, you know, people are coming online. They're opening multiple dispensaries at this point. It grew to a point where it was able to, again, really kind of like, one of your guys' core focuses is really around expansion
Yeah.
and brands looking to expand, looking to get connections in multiple areas, looking to get licensing deals, looking to find manufacturers in other places. There's a certain kind of audience at your guys' shows, and that New Jersey show was perfect for them to truly get there during that phase and that time. And I think right now, as you guys turn your eyes to Missouri, I think it's
Yeah.
going to end up ultimately being the same thing and have a similar end result in terms of the value that people will get out of being at the first two or three of these shows for you guys.
Sure. And listen, I mean, that's the thing is like, I mean, probably the best time for an MJUnpacked style event is, after the recreational market's kind of been licensed up, they're coming to market. Everybody's still trying to connect and build those relationships. They probably still need some, solutions, whether it's technology or services at some level. New Jersey was really kind of in that early stage where it was like this explosion of new licenses coming out. It was funny because a lot of the people, like, they were getting their licenses, but they couldn't get all their building permits. And that's a whole nother layer of complexity that you have to
Right,
deal with in New Jersey, right?
right,
But, we just believe that the East Coast is really going to be a really critically important area for the cannabis industry, same way that California, the West Coast is. But it gave us an opportunity for a little bit more white space. There wasn't really any event out. There still isn't any event like ours out on the East Coast. And it gives us the opportunity to kind of help facilitate that growth. And you look, I mean, like the number of licenses that have been issued in Maryland, New York finally seems to be getting its act together and really starting to ramp up the market, not without its problems. New Jersey's issuing more licenses. Pennsylvania's got to be coming online pretty damn soon. And, we think that event's going to continue to scale and grow. And we want that to be kind of an anchor event on the East Coast every spring. You got MJ Biz in the fall, which is a supply side show. And this will be the main show in the spring.
right. Every one of these shows brings their own unique set of value and resources to the space. Again, I think MJ Unpacked, really helps brands go from one location to numerous expansion, efficiencies. There's a certain kind of connection and value out of the audience that you guys bring to your shows. And I think there's enough of those people across the country in each of these markets now that it becomes a wave and it gets bigger and continues to grow.
Yeah, and I think also foundational to that is like, I mean, this is like I said before, this is a really tough fucking business. And for anybody that's running a retail store or a brand, the taxation, the regulatory structure, the bad actors, or your payables and receivables getting stacked up. And I think, one of the things that I believe, and I think is foundational to what we've created here at MJUnpacked, is that the highest form of learning is going to be peer-to-peer learning. And so when you can sit down and be in the room with somebody who's walking a mile in your shoes, you're going to have an opportunity to learn from their mistakes and their successes. And both of those are going to help you be a better operator yourself. And that's why we qualify everybody that's coming into the event must be a licensed operator with the title of manager or higher, an accredited investor, actively investing in cannabis. We've also, kind of expanded the show to include cultivation and science and research. Hopefully we see Schedule 3 coming around the pipe soon. But when we saw that this opportunity kind of have this lily pad to Schedule 3, which I really think is our best possible, because it'll keep some of the bigger players out of the market and allow state operators to make profitability before those players come in, and the market starts to consolidate on a national level. Let them get healthy first and get that 280 tax burden off their P&L. But I just think it's just such an important opportunity to kind of be in the room with people that, do what you do, have had the same problems you've had. There's a sense of belonging there, but there's also such a deep opportunity for learning for all of those folks.
Yeah, there's always been a good variety of resources there, depending on the type of business that you have. From the media to some of the ancillary brands that are there. You guys aren't a heavy ancillary offering company. You guys really help the brands get showcased in those areas at a pretty high level. And then you guys also have strong panels and strong educational opportunities. I wanted to slide over to your website real quick. I noticed that you guys have this dope video here of the hotel area. You said it was at the Union Station Hotel.
Yeah. Check this out. You're gonna start creeping up into the big lounge area. Wow. We'll be having our welcome reception there on Monday night. Hey, coming early.
That's crazy. How beautiful is that, man?
That's my room.
Oh yeah, that one right there. That one right there. Love to see it, man. No, you guys aren't kidding, man. I mean, you guys did something. Let's see, at in Michigan, it was at a Hard Rock, no?
No, it was called the Motor City Casino.
The Motor City Casino, right? A super cool Detroit themed, Motor City themed experience. We slid over to New Jersey at the Hard Rock there on the boardwalk.
Yeah.
We're sliding over to St. Louis. You know what I'm saying? The MO. And you guys got us at the historic train station there.
Yeah, listen, I mean, for our size event and where we're really targeting our audience, like bringing people together into some type of hotel convention facility where there's bars, there's restaurants. So, you finish up the show, you go kick off your shoes in the room, you have plans, you don't have plans. You kind of go down to the bar, hang out, and something's going to happen. You're going to bump into somebody that's coming from the show. So I think, just making sure that you have those networking opportunities 24/7 or as long as you want to stay out, and the convention centers, I mean, it's tough. And then everybody kind of has these after parties all around town, as we know, it happens in Vegas in the fall. And you're spending half of your time there in a cab line or a Uber.
Right. Well, talk to me about the after party you guys got going on. Are you guys working with the homies Fairchild again or what?
We are bringing in the legendary and maybe most underspoken and maybe underappreciated master of event design, James Zahodny, who was one of the founders at Dope Magazine. And he did a great job for us. I mean, that party in AC was sick. Detroit was pretty damn good too. And so we got a venue offsite. It's called the Garage, and it's attached to another bar called the Honky Tonk Bar. We're bringing in a live rock karaoke band. The band has over 500 songs in the repertoire. I'm trying to get the list so I can put it up online before the show. We are flying in one of the other founders of Dope Magazine, Dave the Tranimal, to be the master of ceremonies. It might be hard to kind of pry the mic from his hands. I know Dave loves the karaoke and loves to sing. And Proper Cannabis, I want to give a shout out to them. Man, talk about companies that I look at everything that they're doing and it's just solid, right? I went to one of their stores, a new store in Kirkwood in Missouri. It was the most beautiful store I've ever been into. Wow. Period. And just the way that they presented stuff, the quality of their staff, the leather bound menus, they broke down their cannabis into kind of 3 grades. So it's not like you got to go kind of sort through which is good. They kind of have their super premium and their premium, and they're kind of like value priced weed. And they kind of tell you which strains fall into which one. Bought my dog some CBD peanut butter, organic CBD peanut butter that was carried. They carried there from Velasic Labs, Willie Black. But it's going to be a sick party. We may or may not have an inflatable hot box on property. So I'll see you in there, Joey.
I'll see you in there. Come on, man. MJUnpacked, St. Louis, Missouri, coming in hot. November 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Yeah, I
Coming
want
up
to shout out
2024.
to real quick to Blue Sage Cannabis Deli. They're part of Show Me Organics, and if you don't know the Show Me Organics story, man, beautiful, beautiful. Husband and wife, farmers, got in an accident. Husband was on opioids, got massively addicted, and they discovered cannabis and started Show Me Organics. And they've got this whole campaign going right now where it's like, we'll take ours, Big Pharma, you take yours, because they're smoking their own weed, and they're asking Big Pharma to start taking their own opioids. And I love it. But they're going to be our official dispensary partner. We're going to have a shuttle running from the show that loops around over to their place. And if you ever been to a cannabis deli style, have you ever been to one?
Of course, down in Oregon.
Yeah. Love that experience.
And Washington and medical.
Yeah. And just, having that level of kind of service and kind of hand picking the buds out there for you. And it's really a treat. And it's a really cool dispensary.
Let's go. Shout out Show Me Organic. Shout out MJUnpacked. You guys got some exciting stuff in the works. There's always one thing that I can there's numerous things that I can say about MJUnpacked, all of them positive. And one of the things I can for sure guarantee is that the party with you guys will be a good time. It'll be valuable, it'll be entertaining. You don't know what you're going to see besides, in addition to just the people there that are all going to be ready to network and be looking for opportunities and resources. People come ready to go at MJUnpacked, man. It's
you get it. You get it. Man. You got to bring the culture to the commerce, right? Like, I mean, the people that are in this industry, most of them, came from the cloth, so to speak, and they, probably came because they had some type of experience or lifestyle with cannabis. And if they didn't and they got in the industry, usually it doesn't take long for them to become an advocate for all of the ways that this can be really transformative as a whole plant medicine to society, both recreationally and most certainly medically. I'm excited about the future. It's been tough, but those of us like yourself and RMR that have been here since the beginning, that have had the grit and persistence, hats off to you. And we're excited to have you guys back out in St. Louis, and this will be a rager. Trust me.
Come on, man. St. Louis MJUnpacked coming up. Like I said, November 5th through the 7th there. We're coming out. We'll be there. We're tapping in. This time around, we're not having a booth, so you guys will catch us all around the trade show, interviewing people at their booths or just somewhere out on the floor getting it in. At some point, I'm definitely going to do something crazy with George, so stay tuned for something random coming off the top of our head, whatever we can think of between now and then. Right, George?
How about a ropes course race?
A ropes course race? That's a thing there?
Well, they have a ropes course, and we could go on at the same time. We could smoke up before we go. I mean, it doesn't look scary when you're standing down below it, but when you're standing on like a 3-inch beam that's like 30 feet above the ground and you got a harness and hope it holds, it gets a little scary.
I like your style there, George. Hey, come on, man. MJUnpacked in the building. Make sure you guys tap in. Visit www.mjunpacked.com. That's MJUnpacked.com. Almost stuttered there on that one. That was a tricky one when you're high. Now, I love you guys. Appreciate y'all. George, you got anything you want to leave the people with?
Listen, we'll just love to see you there, and keep the course, man. Cannabis is going big, and there's a lot of room in the tent. Is
there still time for people to register, buy a booth, and or get tickets?
Absolutely. You can still register for the event. We've got, like I said, we've got a phenomenal conference program lined up. We got 3 independent tracks. One's for brands and retailers. One's for science and cultivators. We got one for investing and financing, more geared towards the CEOs. We got a number of networking breakfasts and lunches, the epic after party. The show kicks off technically Monday night, opening the reception from the show. It's already exciting as well.
Totally. So Monday night reception.
Yep, looks like.
Of course, we had a little bit of
getting a little up here again. Yeah,
it's all good. We just saved it. We just came back. We were just having a little bit of technical difficulties there. Everybody, sorry about that. We're both having some Wi-Fi problems. But if you missed it, they've got the Monday night reception. That's November 4th. The reception. You guys come to a party. You guys can reach out to me or George. We'll get you tapped in. I'll definitely be there. I don't know when, where, or what, or how, but I'm gonna be there, George. So I'm gonna figure that out with you, and we'll be at that after party too. So tap in. Me and my guy Abel, aka the Slicer, pulling up. Hey, y'all, for those of you guys watching, this was episode 113 of the RMR podcast. I know you guys haven't seen Mitch on here in a while, and that's because whoop, 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 Mitch just had another kid. Big shout out to the new mini Pfeiffer in the building. Congratulations to Natasha. So for those of you guys watching, make sure you show love to my guy Mitch, my brother from another over here, repping Ellensburg and up there in Washington. We'll be out there, Abel and I. George, I appreciate you, man. Thank you, man. Big love. I love you guys. Big shout out to Kim, who we almost had Kim on here today, but that's not even close. We were still so far away. So
she's elusive. She's elusive. I think
right?
she's done 2 podcasts, maybe.
One day.
So,
Hey, talk that shit about me,
I
but
think
make sure you buy your tickets to MJU. We'll talk to y'all later. George.